Good morning, Uganda. Good morning, everybody, wherever it is that you are watching from. We are welcoming you to yet another episode of the Learn Tax Uganda podcast. And this is quickly becoming your favorite place to learn a thing or two about tax straight from the horse's mouth. And we are coming to you live from Elegu One-Stop Border Post. It is Elegu if you live in Uganda. If you live on the other side of the border, it becomes Nimule.
Yes, Nimule.
And we have the privilege this morning of engaging with the manager in charge of the region, not just the OSBP, and that's none other than Mr. Abe Mawelele. But before I indulge you any further, please allow me to give him a moment to say his greetings. Good morning, Abe.
Good morning, Solomon. We first of all want to welcome you to the region. We are very honored to have the mighty tax education team in our region. It is a very virgin region. We still have a lot of work to do in terms of educating our people here, the masses, on the importance and benefits of tax and a good tax payment culture. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's indeed an honor to interact with you in this context. But for someone who's watching and hearing you for the very first time, of course, they have questions. And the very first question would be, who is Abe, really?
Abe Mawere is the regional manager for the Field Services Division, Northern Region or Northern Uganda. Northern Uganda is not a very small region. For someone who has a good map of Uganda, we start from Karuma, right from the Karuma Bridge, and then we move towards Pakwachi Bridge. So from Karuma Bridge, you are moving to Kulu. We are going to the Kitugum subsector where we have Lamo district, having 3 custom stations, that is Madope, in Kitugum, Awinolowi, and Ingomorong, which is also, both of them are in Lamo district. And then when you come into Gulu, we have Gulu Logistics Hub, a very upcoming station and very critical in enforcement activities in the region. And then we have the biggest customs station in Northern Uganda, right on your left, which is Elegu Customs, which we refer to as Elegu One-Stop Border Point. That one is found in our Moro district. You notice that we have 2 bridges there, the Pakwach Bridge and the Karma Bridge. And each of them will have the enforcement checkpoints. Very critical in ensuring that things don't just move into or out of the region without the knowledge of the customs department. And then in the West Nile, we have 9 customs stations. We have Pakwach checkpoint, which I've already talked about. Then we have Goli Customs, One-Stop Border Point. Then we have Padea Customs. We have both of them. The other is in Nebi district. Padea is in Zombo district. Then we have Vura Customs, Lia, and Arua Customs. All of those are in Arua. And then in Koboko, we have Oraba Customs and the brand new Pirijako Customs. Pirijako Customs. That one is near the mighty Ombokoro in Garasi. And then finally we have Afoji Customs, which is found in Moyo district.
Ombokolo. Salvador.
Yes. The mighty Ombokoro. Ombokoro is around 10 kilometers from Birijako Customs. It is actually the DRC facing customs for Birijako Customs. Yes.
So if someone is looking at the map of Uganda, they basically just need to get a knife and they cut out the top part.
Yes.
All of that is under your jurisdiction.
Me and my fellow manager for enforcement, definitely.
I understand you talked about field services.
Yes.
And someone might be interacting with these words for the very first time. From the context of the scope of work, exactly what does that mean?
Thank you very much, Solomon. Now, when we refer to field services, okay, Let us pick it from customs department. As URA, we have different departments.
Yes.
Then we have the customs department and the domestic taxes department, which are the main collecting departments. Now, within customs, we have divisions. Again, the key divisions or the main collecting divisions, we have field services, enforcement, and customs external operations as the main collecting divisions. Now, when we are talking about clearance within URA, sometimes we have what we call the happy route. The happy route meaning the known process of customs clearance. That is mainly what field services is about. Envision someone walking in with their goods and is saying, "Oh, I've come with some goods, I want to pay taxes." The first point of contact will be the field services officer, right? Or whether at the border or inland. And someone pays their normal tax and is released and it goes. All those officers who will do that normal process fall under field services division, as long as it's within Uganda. Now, should anything go wrong after customs has released you, maybe you did not declare properly, maybe you chose not to come to customs at all, that's where the enforcement division comes in.
I was about to ask you the choice of words because you were saying normal. So I was going to ask you which one is abnormal, but you've clearly indicated the one where someone is using alternative means of getting things into Uganda.
Yes, outside the legal allowed processes, legal allowed customs areas, and the like.
Thank you so much. Now, you've definitely talked about the fact that the officers under you in the region are basically the officers that are facilitating the trader
Facilitating trade.
who has come.
Yes.
Someone is saying, "I'm here, I'm bringing goods in,
Yes.
I need your facilitation."
I'm taking them out.
Or I'm taking goods to South Sudan or
yeah.
DR Congo.
Yes.
Now, that puts you in a very good position to answer my next question, which is a question of trade facilitation.
Yes.
Customs is tending towards trade facilitation because when you look at all the initiatives that you've talked about, and when you look at, for instance, the Gulu Logistics Hub, which we happened to visit the other day, massive project, you see that the country is tending towards facilitating traders more than just administering the revenue.
Yes.
Why is that the trend?
When you look at the National Development Plan, right from NDP 1, but now more important, NDP 4, which is the latest National Development Plan, which was approved recently by the government of Uganda. The concept of trade facilitation comes from the fact that the country has the intention to industrialize. And not just intention, we are in the process of industrialization. Just 2 years back, for the first time, Kenya woke up and got shocked that we were actually exporting more goods to them than we are importing from Kenya. For the first time since Uganda, the Republic of Uganda was created. And that made a very clear point that the industrialization which the government of Uganda is pushing is actually yielding results. So if we are having so many industries being set up, so many products are being manufactured here, then we need to create a market for where they will be sold. We need to create a conducive environment for industrialists and all entrepreneurs where they're going to sell these products, and one, continue providing jobs for our people, two, bring in the much needed foreigners into the country. And that in itself is why customs or URA has to have very strong buy-in because it properly aligns with the NDP program. Facilitation, trade facilitation. Again, when you look at it from the point of customs, because customs department is the one which controls the border control. Yes. You notice that for many years, every time someone will talk about customs, they are thinking about importation. Hey, bring in my goods, clearing my goods and what. But now in the new dispensation, we are looking at the future of customs is actually export oriented. we are going to reach a point where we almost don't have any much import duties, almost negligible. And I believe the future of customs is that we may end up at some point, if we are going to get any revenue from custom, we may actually just have to increase the number of export charges instead of import. And import charges, mainly, we are going to just utilize them as tools of minimizing or controlling importation. That is the future of trade. That's why we have to facilitate trade in that direction.
You've shared a very poignant picture about where the future is headed. And you've also talked about the fact that the focus is on industry.
That's right.
You want as many people as possible to get into the space of industry or industrialization. And that brings me to my next question. You hinted on it, but I would like you to delve a little deeper into it.
Yes.
For an ordinary Ugandan, these are just words.
Mhm.
Import substitution.
Yes.
But what does it mean from the context of a man who is in charge of a region?
Thank you very much. I think now that we have talked about an ordinary Ugandan, we have to break it down to something which will allow a normal person who may not be related to, who may not have a close understanding of business or economic jargons to understand what it's about. We shall use a simple example. In the early 90s, Uganda was importing cooking oil, sugar, salt, and any other house items, even matchboxes, even bread from Kenya. Milk, even milk. Now, when you speak right now, Uganda is producing more sugar than Kenya. Uganda is producing more milk, including milk powder, than Kenya. And Uganda is exporting pretty much anything to Kenya. And now it's almost unheard of that you'll find a Kenyan brand of the items I've talked about on our Ugandan shelves in the supermarket. That is a simple example of successful import substitution. That means the Ugandans have set up factories to make these things. They are producing enough for the market and even enough to export. When you're producing enough for the market, it means there is no need to import. If someone is going to import, it is probably because of classism. Maybe this came from Dubai or China or US. So I think it's a superior brand. Most times just because of branding and all, not necessarily in terms of utilization. So import substitution is where whatever you have been importing, you intentionally decide to manufacture it within the country or produce it within the country so that there is no need to import. Because, of course, importation comes at a cost, not only to the economy, but even to individuals.
You've made a very clear example when you talked about some of these products. I could see it playing out in real time. But we are seeing the successes, especially for some of the basic, or should we call the basics in a home.
Yes.
Ugandans use Ugandan salt. Ugandans use Ugandan sugar. Ugandans use Ugandan tomato sauce today. Gone are the days when people are going for those superior brands. Now you find a home in Uganda fully enjoying Ugandan made products. What has government done through customs to specifically promote import substitution?
I don't know. You seem to be understanding exactly what the government is up to. I think you should actually come and work with us in customs because you're just hitting on the real issues. You see, right from NDP1, the government has intentionally set up policies and procedures which are supposed to ensure that we do import substitution for the good of the country. First, yeah, it created investment incentives for investors to invest in Uganda. And then the investors came and invested into the country. They set up factories, they set up huge farms, and the like. When they began producing, the government found out that now that we have these products in the country, should people be importing them? Should people be competing with, if you're importing things from China and then we are producing them here, one, you're taking out our foreign exchange to China. Two, you are practically exporting our jobs to China. You get it? So how do we then incentivize the entrepreneur who has set up his factory, say of garments here or of matchboxes here or of plastics here? Then we have to create a safety net to protect our economy, because the people who are producing from here, we are gaining much more from them. Yet the person importing is actually exporting jobs, exporting foreign exchange, and much more. So through customs, government uses import restrictions, which then can keep our products here more competitive in the Ugandan market. I'll give an example. I'll give an example of sugar. We're already producing more than enough sugar in Uganda, okay? But then someone chooses to import sugar from Brazil. So what does the government say? It says, okay, if you insist that you want to bring in sugar from Brazil, you're going to pay 70%, the import duty of 70%, the value of the sugar you're bringing. Yeah? So when you pay the 70%, that is going to make you less competitive compared to Kachira sugar, Kinyara sugar, and the like. So that means, in a way, you're discouraging. You're not stopping people from importing, but you're discouraging them to import because the same product is available and of a better quality, if anything. You get that. Also, we've seen it also play out in the garments. We are producing most of the garments, the t-shirts, the shirts, even kitenge. If we go to the Mbale Industrial Complex, we are producing jeans. So for you, if you insist on importing the things from China or wherever, then we are going to increase the import duties so that only the people who can afford, who are looking for brands and all, should pay the cost for the brand. But the people who are looking for utilization, they should be able to get the local products because they meet the standards. That is the whole concept of import substitution.
Quite interesting. I've also recognized a pattern. Maybe you could speak a bit to it, and you could guide on whether it is actually intentional. We seem to have less and less taxes on raw materials coming in. Is that part of this plan?
Exactly. It is like as you increase the import duty on manufactured products, you reduce the import duty on raw materials, because the raw materials are bringing in jobs. Every time you bring in unfinished products or raw materials and you produce from here, the factory will give jobs. That is one. The finished products will be exported, meaning you're going to bring for us foreign currency or foreign exchange, versus importation, whereby every time you import a finished product, you're giving our foreign exchange, you're giving our jobs. So intentionally, once again, the government of Uganda has reduced, and in most cases, it is actually zero import duty on all raw materials for production. And in some cases, even semi-finished, because especially in the appliances environment or sector, a number of people are bringing in items which they can use to assemble TVs, and they are assembling them within the country in the different industrial centers. And you notice that assembling itself produces many jobs. Someone is putting in screws, another is putting things in position and all. They're consuming power, they're consuming water and other things. And all that brings money to the economy. So someone who is bringing money to the economy through that, you notice that the one who is importing a finished product is exporting all that money to that country which are where they were assembled from. So it makes there is very strong rationale for what government is doing, saying, okay, fine, if you're doing that, we are going to take out the import duties so that you import without paying any duties. When you finish this product, you would have given us all those benefits I've mentioned about. But also when you choose to export it, especially regionally, you're going to again bring us more foreign exchange and more money into the economy. We may require you to have a license to import some items. For example, right now, since we are producing garments here, if you choose that you still want to bring us used garments, yet we have factories producing brand new garments, then we are going to tell you to first go and get a license from the Minister of Trade as per the government directive. So even before you pay the import duties, please, you need permission.
There's already another hurdle.
Yes, so that then we limit the number of people bringing used garments into the country. You get a license. So the minister then can know, the minister will have its own quotas. Maybe we want only 100 importers, or we want to import only maybe 1,000 tons per year. That creates that control again for protection of the existing market for our local producers. But also for the raw materials, as we are taking our import duty from raw materials, we are also restricting exportation of raw materials. We are not allowing you to export any raw timber out of the country. Prohibited. We are saying if you want to, for example, take out maize bran, cotton seed cake, if you want to take out fresh fish, if you'll have to pay export duties. Again, it is the same two-pronged approach. If you want to take our raw materials, you're taking our jobs. We have people here who can add value. So in some instances, we are going to tell you, no, you're not taking our anything. Steel scrap, you cannot take it out of the country. Why? We have over 10 steel rolling mills here. They need that raw material, steel scrap. So we are saying you cannot. Zero. But in other instances, like as I talked about, maize bran, cotton seed cake, and the like, we shall say, okay, you can. Even fish, even semi-processed. Actually, even for hides, we are saying you're not taking out any hides out of the country. Prohibited. Why? We are having so many people producing shoes, actually leather products, shoes, belts, and what within the country.
Someone is contemplating. They maybe put together some money and they're thinking, I want to invest this money into a Ugandan venture. What advice would you give a person who is having such an idea?
So I don't think there is a better time to invest in Uganda than now. Just 2 days ago, you had the president who was telling you that we are growing at 7% per annum as an economy. And the projection is that should the oil begin flowing, we are going to get into the two-digit sector, probably 12%, 13%. And then look at how the population has grown and how the poverty levels have gone down. That signals purchasing power. You have the economy growing, you have the poverty going down. It means people are increasingly having more purchasing power. But then also look at our relations as a country. You know, Uganda is practically in the center of East Africa. Kenya this side, Tanzania this side, Rwanda this side. Intentionally maintained very good relationship with Africa. So which investor shouldn't come to such an environment with such potential? And then you look at the incentives the government is giving, which we have been talking about. We are saying, okay, if you set up a factory and you need to import raw materials, you're not going to pay any import duty. If you are exporting, we are going to facilitate you, the trade facilitation we are talking about. Right now, an exporter here is a VIP in URA or in customs. Actually, in URA, the amount of attention we give you as an exporter, right from domestic taxes to customs, is the equivalent of a VIP, because we know what exports will do for our economy. And again, you notice that with the free education, right from primary up to secondary, you see that we have so many qualified people who can work in whichever industry you want to invest in, and at reasonable prices, because our salary structures in Uganda are very competitive for investors. And the government has intentionally left it open because it's a free economy. So that allows you to pay something reasonable as an investor to employees without necessarily squeezing them. So I would really encourage them. And I also want to add something. A number of times, the local people or the Ugandans, the citizens, they think investors can only be foreign. And they also think the government incentives only are given to foreign investors, which is not true. We've seen a number of people investing in unit trust, keeping our money, investing only in apartments and all. But the government is now encouraging you, don't just keep on putting up those boxes. Get that money. 2 apartments can set up a very strong factory, which will actually create more jobs and actually have even a stronger potential for growth compared to apartments which may have a low rate of return.
Thank you so much, Abe. It's been an honor hosting you on this particular edition of the podcast. I am sure myself and the viewers out there have learned a thing or two about import substitution.
Thank you very much, Solomon, for hosting us too. And I'm always glad to share information. Thank you.
You heard it from the man himself, Abe. He said he invests the money not in an apartment, but rather in a factory. You'll thank us later. From all of us to all of you, adios.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.